EFF leader Julius Malema has warned against proposals to strengthen the parliamentary guard and dismissed it as a way to manhandle his party's MPs. While speaking at the EFF second anniversary celebrations in Rustenburg, Malema called this proposal a waste of time, saying it would only make the EFF more determined. He's also threatened to halt operations at Transnet and supermarket chains Shoprite and Pick n Pay if they don't stop sourcing workers through labour brokers. Well, we're joined from our Cape Town studios this morning by Director at the Institute for Accountability in Southern Africa, Advocate Paul Hoffman. Paul, good morning to you and thank you for your time this morning. Just firstly, looking at these proposed new parliamentary rules, just your thoughts on them. I mean, is it the Parliament going too far in trying to control who's inside and what happens inside?
Yes, I think that what the draft people involved in formulating the new rules need to bear in mind is that Parliament belongs to the people, and that the Constitution, which is our supreme law, has immunized members of Parliament against criminal and civil liability for what they do in Parliament, whether it is chanting "pay back the money" or making repeated representations in the form of points of order or points of privilege, as happened in the State of the Nation address. You cannot create a rule of Parliament that is inconsistent with the Constitution, and the Constitution itself guarantees the right to free speech of members of Parliament.
All right, so the EFF saying that this will only make them more active, it would make them louder in Parliament. How far can they go? I mean, if and when these rules actually become rules in Parliament, now they're just proposals, just how far can the EFF go? What will they be allowed and not be allowed to do, EFF and other parties, but specifically the EFF because they've spoken out against them?
Yes, certainly the judgment in the matter between the DA and the Speaker, in which the conduct of the EFF during the State of the Nation address was before the court, and the interpretation of the relevant legislation was considered by a full bench in Cape Town. That judgment makes it very clear that there is no basis upon which the freedom of speech of members of Parliament can be curtailed by giving criminal and civil sanctions against members of Parliament who incur the ire of the Speaker. I think a lot of the problem at the moment is that the Speaker of Parliament, Baleka Mbete, does not enjoy the gravitas of her predecessors, and is in fact wearing two hats at the same time. She is the chairman of the ANC and also the Speaker of Parliament. And as such, she does not enjoy the confidence of opposition parties to rule in an even-handed manner when points of order are taken and when discord erupts in Parliament. And that isn't the fault of the opposition parties. It's the fault of the governing alliance that they have allowed a person who is one of their top six to be the Speaker, who is meant to be above party politics and an objective chairperson of the deliberations.
Well, how much of this then, I mean, like you said, a lot of it has to do with Baleka Mbete. How much would be different if there were not new rules, but a new Speaker of Parliament? Do you think that this would work towards a solution where we would actually have conversation in Parliament, debates in Parliament that actually take us forward and not make us a laughingstock of the rest of the world?
Yes. Now, I do believe that a Speaker of Parliament who enjoys the confidence of opposition parties can do a lot better than Baleka Mbete has done in the past few months. But the rules of the game are not there for Baleka Mbete or any particular politician. The rules in the Constitution itself make it very clear that ours is a representative and participatory democracy, and that means that opposition parties must be given the opportunity of being heard. So if there's going to be any amending of rules and appeals against the decision in the Western Cape High Court in which the Speaker lost, then whatever changes, it cannot change the Constitution itself, and the Constitution itself protects Julius Malema and his colleagues when they chant pay back the money and when they raise points of order in the manner in which they have done so far.
Paul,
so I don't see anything changing because rules are tinkered with. It really is a question of the rules following the Constitution and the Speaker being a person of sufficient gravitas to hold the line.
All right, Paul, very quickly for us. So you don't see this happening? You don't see that these rules will come into being at all?
Any rule that is inconsistent with the Constitution is invalid. That's what Section 2 of the Constitution says in terms, and that needs to be borne in mind if rules are going to be tinkered with.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Director at the Institute for Accountability in Southern Africa. That's Paul Hoffman in Cape Town for us this morning.